This door panel is going to come off, and we're gonna lift up on the door panel here and all the way across here, and I'm going to use a simple tool. I'm going to use a butter knife to do it, and I'm just going to pry up, gently pry up so you don't break any of those tabs along here. So I'm going to pry up this panel, and you just gently go around, prying up all the way around the sides here, and you can see the tabs in there, and if you're careful you won't break those off. There you go, got it off without breaking any of those tabs. And this part of the panel is going to come off the same way. You're just going to stick your knife in here and just pry it up really gently, and then just work its way out. Okay, I finally got that out. What I didn't expect was there's a clip at the top of this, and then there's a tab at the back, and there's two tabs on the side there. Okay, so I want to disconnect this wiring harness at this connection here. I had a little bit of difficulty with this, but I took a screwdriver and just gently pried up here and along here. Just gently do that, and then it'll come loose. The next thing is we're going to remove this cover. This just pries out of there, and then there's the cover, this back cover here, that also needs to come out. There's a bolt on the other side that we're going to need to get to. Okay, and that cover just easily just pops out. And you can see the bolt back here. Okay, as far as I can tell, there's 3 bolts that have to come out. There's one here, there's one here, and there's one right there. That bolt is a 10mm socket. And then after you take those 3 bolts out, you're probably going to need to pry the bottom away from the door. Start at the bottom and then work your way around. Okay, so here we're looking at the bottom of that door panel, and there's a little notch right there, and I went ahead and just stuck my knife in there and I pried it up, and it popped, and you're just going to do that all the way around, and this door panel will come out. I'm ready to take the door off now. You're just going to pull up on it and it should come out. Okay, there's the exposed door. There's the cold barrier that I took off of there. The motor connection is right there. I'm going to pull that out in just a minute. Okay, this regulator and the motor assembly is ready to come out. There's 3 bolts here to hold the motor in. There's 2 bolts up here where the regulator is, and down here also those 2 have to come out. But before you do that, make sure you tape your window shut. Just use some painter's tape or some duct tape or something and tape it along the top so it does not fall down when you loosen the bolts on the inside. There's 2 bolts. There's 2 bolts that hold the window. You can't see that, but that holds the window on the top. I'm going to loosen one here, and then there's another one in here. The thing is that what you want to do is you want to lower this first. You want to lower it so that there's a place where you can loosen the bolts up here and here. Now, if you cannot lower your window, like in my case, I'm going to have to actually go in there and cut the cables and try to get I'm going to try to manipulate the regulator and get it out of this door. So if you're able to move the window down, try to get it down to these 2 holes. That way you can get access to the 2 bolts that hold the window. Okay, here's the new regulator and the motor assembly. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of manipulate this thing and put it inside and back in place. And there's going to be 2 slots over here where the motor is going to hang down on. And then once you get in there, you'll be able to manipulate that window and hook it up. This hole right here is meant for the window the attachment to the window so that you can have access to those 2 bolts on that window. Okay, it's much easier to put the new one in than it was to get the old one out. On my car, the old one, the window was stuck at the top and I could not get it to come down. Anyway, I ended up having to cut the cable with a pair of bolt cutters, but it came right out after that. So when you put this regulator in, you're just going to kind of put it through this hole and kind of manipulate it in there, put it back where you took it out, the bolts there, the 2 bolts there. That's for the rail. And then the motor comes in here, and there's tabs where it just hangs on the inside, and then you'll just bolt it up right there. Okay, I went ahead and connect the switch back up, and also plugged in the connection for the motor, because if you look in here, if you can see that, if you look in here, I want to go ahead and get this, and I want this raised to the top so it meets up with the window at the top. So now I can just kind of manipulate it a little bit. Oops, wrong way. And then I'm going to go ahead and take that all the way up till it meets up with the window, and then I'm going to bolt it up, and then hopefully everything works good. Okay, so you can see where the rail meets up with the window, and I'm going to bolt that right there. But I'm not going to bolt the other side because it's too difficult to get to. What I'm going to do is just bolt one side, and then I'll take the tape off the window, and then I'll lower this. I'll lower this down, and there's a hole right there, and that's where I'll bolt up the other side. It makes it a lot easier if you do it that way. Okay, I guess I don't need this shoe anymore. I was just using that to make sure the window wouldn't come crashing down. Okay, so I've got the bolt in there, and I just kind of hand tightened it, and you can see it right there. So it's enough to hold the window until you lower it to get it to a place where you can screw it in a little bit tighter. Okay, took the tape off the window. I'm going to lower this down a little bit. Let's see. And I just want to lower it just enough so I can see the bolt there. And then you can see the place where the other bolt goes in that hole right there. Okay, that's about it. Just make sure you tighten everything up. And let's just check this out. So we're going to go up. And it looks like everything works fine. I got to tell you, I am not a mechanic. In fact, I hate working on cars, but just a novice like me, I mean, anybody can do this job, just replacing the regulator. It was a little bit difficult taking the old one out, but putting the new one in was very easy. This second regulator that I put in, I put another regulator in my truck, so I guess I am a little bit experienced, not much. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic, but you know, anybody can do this. This regulator with the motor assembly, the part was less than $50, and it took me a couple of hours to do it. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed this.